Hello. Hi, Barbara. Welcome. How are you today? I'm quietly setting up over here. I decided to come along and do a live video showing how I'm using some dies to make a card today. And I hope that some crafty friends can join me. So I thank you so much for being here. I did not announce this video, but I think that that's okay. YouTube takes care of notifications, and if you're signed up, you receive them. So we'll see who shows up. How are you, Barbara? I hope you're doing well. Let me know what part of the I'm pretty sure you're in the US, so let me know what part of the US you're in. I'm doing well, thank God. And just having a bit of fun here with some new stamps that I just got in the mail. And I'll show you those in a minute. And what I'm stamping right now are a bunch of little kitty cat paw prints, which I think are so stinking cute. Just a ton of fun. And I'm trying to create a bit of a pattern there, not necessarily too exact. Nebraska. Oh, so it's warmer in Nebraska today than it is in upstate New York, darling. Go figure. I think, you know, every once in a while we get the our snow globe gets shaken up over here. Hello, Deborah. Deborah, I do not recognize your name. Okonji. Where is that from? But welcome to my channel. And yes, I'm going to show you this adorable stamp set because you guys are just, it's so stinking cute. If you're into cutesy things, that is, of course, you know, which I think most crafters enjoy it in some way or another. So what I have here is this Mft stamp set that I just received. And I started coloring last night. It's called Catastrophe, and I did show this in a haul video, but I know that not everybody watches haul videos. But it's got all these adorable, oh, wonderful. I wondered if it was an African name, Nigeria. Awesome. I don't know how to say welcome. I should, because I watch enough Nigerian movies that I should know how to speak a little bit of Nigerian, but welcome. So these little images here are just so adorable. I think here you can see them a little bit better. And then it's got a bunch of phrases, and the only one that I did stamp out is the one that says, "Life is messy, friends help." And I did that intentionally because of the type of card that I want to make. And so let me show you what I've done here, which I think is the better way to go about it, guys, to be honest. If you have a scan and cut, or if you have a pick scan mat, meaning if you have a digital cutter and you have that type of mat where you can take a picture of an image and then have your machine cut it out, then it's easier to work with this type of thing. Or if you're crazy like me, you can just sit on the couch and fussy cut them, which is what I did. But I like to stamp them all out like so, and then that way I get to see the image a bit more clearly. And then I just have fun coloring them in. So here are some, and you get to see, sometimes I'm cleaning off my marker there on the edge of the paper, but what I start to do is precisely that, just adding color. And I wanted to keep it simple, so I stamped out the sentiment, you know, just a bunch of times there in repetitive fashion. And then I sat there, like I mentioned before, fussy cutting my little images that I wanted to use. So, hi, Wandy. How are you, darling? So let me show you one of the little kitty cats. He looks to be grumpy. So there's one that I fussy cut out. I am making a card, darling, for Cards for Cubs. And I decided to come along and show you how I'm making it because I'm trying to make them interactive and fun. So I'm using this stamp set from Mft, my favorite things, called Catastrophe. And I'm showing you how I colored in my grumpy little cats. He's crying. And guys, these cards are meant for children that are in foster care. So I've been trying to make it I'm trying to be empathetic as to the person receiving the card, because that's how I like to make my cards. I like to make sure that they're very specific to the person receiving them. In this instance, I don't get to know who that person is, but I know that it's a person who is young and who is in foster care. And that's enough for me to know in order to be, for instance, you know, just inspired as to what it is that I would present to a person that I personally would know that might be in the same circumstance. So here's the ones in case you just came in Wandy. So you can see this one. He's got a little ball of yarn. So I just sat last night on my couch and I did all the coloring there until I couldn't see because I'm blind as a bat. And then let me show you the other one. So here's this one, not colored, right? And yeah, the stamp set, it sells itself. It's so stinking cute. So here's one that I colored in, so you get to see the difference there. Okay, and I did use my Copics, but you can definitely use, yeah, blind as a bat. You can use your pencils to get the same effect, guys, because before I owned a single Copic, I used to get the same results using pencils. You just have to use, if you want to get a super duper blend, you can use Gamsol or turpentine, or just use a lighter pencil at the end over the top of what you've colored, etc. I've done coloring videos here and tutorials, guys, so if you want to look back at those, you'll get an idea. So here's some other images that come with this set. There's a speech bubble. There's a fish bowl with two little fishies. So you can imagine Wandy, me trying to color that in the middle of the night. Like, ¿a dónde va? ¿A dónde va? ¿A dónde va? Like, whatever. And then this is a little tissue box, and I thought that that was very appropriate. And guys, Wandy is like me. We're both Puerto Rican. We have a very particular sense of humor, although I think Deborah would understand our sense of humor very well. And I'm not saying, Barbara, that you wouldn't. I'm just saying, I don't know, Latin people, we have a particular sense of humor. So I'm not trying to exclude anyone by any means when I say that. So here's the tissue boxes. Let me actually change this up so you guys can see here. Oh, and I have another little Chicky Poo over here that I stamped, and I'm dying to use her. So you guys let me know if you want me to make two different cards. Then God willing, I'll give it a try. I don't know. Hello, Louisa. So there's, again, maybe you can see it better now. The fishbowl, the little tissue box, the speech bubble. This is all part of the same stamp set. And I'm trying to make sure, I'm sorry, that you guys are able to see them because they're itty bitty. And this here, okay, so this is part of the stamp set. I'm sure you guys can see it. I'm the one who can't. All right, so this came in the set, right? And this is the entire set for those of you who just got here. So I'm taking a look at this initially and thinking, oh, that's a peculiar, odd little food bowl, right? I thought it was a little food bowl. Well, no, this is, you know, this is today's generation. That's a Roomba. That's how you say it, right? The little vacuum cleaner that God knows what that thing picks up, because in my household, it wouldn't cut it. I'm old school. So yeah, so that's a little Roomba. I'm pretty sure of it because I got to staring at it and I was like, wait, that looks like a vacuum cleaner, one of those modern vacuum cleaners. So in my head, I was like, whatever. I don't know, but yes. I'm like, I have a Dyson and even that isn't good enough for me. So I don't know. Anyway, that's just personal opinion. That's got nothing to do with the stamp set. So, okay, so as you can tell, I have stamped, I have colored, and before I get ahead of myself, I also want to show you, because I did mention the stamps that I received. This other, yeah, that's what I use, because we bring in wood for the fireplace. And let me tell you guys, it's like, it looks so romantic on TV, and then you have a fireplace, and it's nothing but a headache, in my opinion, because of all the cleaning you perpetually have to be doing. So anyway, okay, this is called Friendship Goals. She is so adorable. Yeah, the only videos I've seen of that vacuum cleaner are like little pets traveling on it, and I'm like, how much did you spend to give your little pet that little trip around your dining room? I don't understand it, but whatever. Again, it's my opinion. So this little girl I did stamp out and colored, so I did want to show you guys that. And I wanted to make sure that I could make different versions of her. So there she is with kind of like an auburn hair color there. And if anyone from MFT ever sees these videos, I would like to see different hair textures on stamps. So I guess I need to make my own. I need to start designing my own digital stamps, guys, seriously. So that it could be, you know, a little more inclusive of different looks, you know what I mean? And I know they're out there. I really think I should just be making my own instead of criticizing someone else's. But there she is. Thank you. She's mostly cookie, which makes it easier to color, to be honest, because you're using a lot of browns there. But I wanted to make sure that she had the pop of color. So what I did was to make the shoes in the same color as her little dress. And then here you get to see I did a bit of shading on the outside there. So that's another thing you can do when you're coloring, is just do a little bit of blending around the image. With whichever markers you like. The color isn't necessarily that important. And it just allows that image to pop from the background, because quite honestly, a white background doesn't do a heck of a lot for your stamped images, but there's those. Okay, so let me set those aside, because right now what I want to focus on is the kitty cat. Kitty cat stamp. What I did was I started looking around my room, as I typically do, for a die set that would make something fun and interactive. So I'm just moving some things out of the way here, guys, because I get overwhelmed. I cut out, using my TonicStudios dies, a shape that looks like this. Okay, I did cut it out in white also, because that's the background of my card. All right, so here's my card so far. I'm going to show you the progress. So I cut that shape out using a memory book die, and it's one of the, in fact, they just re-released it. I got it when it was one of the, oh gosh, the Designer's Choice that they had released. I think I don't recall how long ago, but in any case, it has that really pretty shape, and here it is. So the shape only cuts one edge. It does not cut the other. So this is great for books, of course, because then you can make it as wide as you want, and you can make a mini album. However, I used it just for the top here, because it got me thinking of the paw of a cat, and that kind of shape that's scalloped I thought would be appropriate. So I did cut it out in white, as you can see, for the base. And then I started off with a 5x7 piece of paper. I cut it out again out of my decorative paper. And then what I did is that I took this die here. And this is for a 3D mailbox that's sold by TonicStudios. And I only did this just to make my life a little bit easier, because it cuts out a tab that folds. So if you can picture just a 1/4 inch tab, then it it scores this piece here. Not necessarily in half, but it gives me that little shape there, and then a piece here. Okay. So using that, I cut the base that you see here. So my 1/4 inch tab is glued right here. And then here's the rest of it. You can see I already put the panel on top. So here it is with nothing on it. And then the rest of it here, which is this rectangle, essentially, I went ahead and placed a square piece of paper on top. All right, so I adhered that there. It does have a tab here, so that way it moves. And on here, I've already started decorating. It's got this piece here. It's just a random rectangle from another set. I liked it because it had this stitching and it almost looked like a window to me. So I used it there. I did a little bit of inking on the background. There's where I placed the little fishbowl. And then over here is the little Roomba, and he's waiting for the kitty cat that's going to go there. So I'm going to place him here. Here's the little grumpy one. And then on the inside, what I decided to do, here I am trying to take that off, it's already adhered. If you see this here, if you've seen other videos of mine, then you know that I love making interactive pages and mini albums. So I tried to adapt the same, you know, thought process. And I cut this piece out of that base using this die set here. Let me show you that. And I've just got a bunch of dies over here and layers and whatnot, but if you have questions about which ones I've used, I'm happy to respond. So here is the set that the title of the video today is about. It's called My Memory Book Perfect Lock Die Set. And this allows you to make interactive pages, interactive covers, but it's the same concept as we did many years ago called the penny slider cards. Same thing. It just cuts a groove. Of course, it comes with different sizes. Then it comes with this die here, which I have on the side. This one, all this does is that it cuts all the little circles at once that you can use. And what you do is you layer these. You glue them together and you get yourself a stack. And if you have an old school paper punch, you can just use that as well. I mean, the width of that depends on however big you want it, whatever you're comfortable with. So I'm going to have to cut these little circles as well, because this is where that little stack is going to adhere to. And because I cut the slit into this piece, then when I put this together, and of course I'll show you guys step by step, it's going to allow this to move around. So Louisa, since you're an admin, would you help me? Because I don't think Buchanan is a crafter. So Buchanan can go bye-bye, ciao-ciao, or I can do it. So I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee right quick, guys. I should be drinking water. All right, so I'm going to start assembling this. Let me see if I can do it myself. There we go. I took care of it. So my circles. I'm going to cut these little circles. I'm just going to grab a thick piece of paper, and I'll need 2. And of course you can cut however many you like, because it's all depending on how comfortable you are with the weight of paper that you're using. I think that's something I sometimes forget to mention, is that I do, oh thank you, that I do tend to work, when I'm making cards, I tend to work in 80-pound cardstock, unless otherwise noted. I guess, you know, that's what I should mention. So let me just cut this right quick. And I am going to start assembling the card. And my hope was to make another one, just to, you know, use up those little stamps. So I hope you guys are doing well. I think I've mentioned this before on this channel. Of course, I tend to mention it every time, but I'm in upstate New York, and it is incredibly cold and snowy here today. It just, I can see out my window and it looks like I'm in Alaska. All right, so I cut that twice, and hopefully that's enough. But I mentioned that just to also show you guys that you don't have to necessarily have that die set to make this. It just makes it convenient, of course. So back to the little card. What I'll do now is that this is a piece, by the way, I didn't mention this. This is a piece that cut out here. To me, it's kind of like a belly button. I don't know why. But what I do is that I place the paper back on here, and this is going to be askew. It's going to show some of that white, but I'm not too worried about that. I placed it there, and I already adhered it to the background. That way you don't see a white spot when the little die cut is moving around. And I hope that makes sense. But I'm going to take two of these guys. I'm going to glue them together using hot glue, just to give it a little bit of sturdiness there. All right. And hello, Susie. Welcome back, darling. So glad you're here. I hope you're doing well. All right, so I'm going to grab one of my little stacks. And please forgive my fingers. I get inky all over the place, guys. So, all right, so this little guy here is, oopsie, the hot glue string got me, is going to, okay, these two guys are going to go together, all right? I'm not trying to make it complicated, but my brain gets stuck. But this has to be inside of that. The way that I've figured it out for myself is using washi tape, okay? And here's what I've done is that I have glued this together, okay? And I want it to be centered. So I'm just placing a little drop of glue there. Oh no. Let me see if I can fix that. Well, that's weird. It doesn't have anything, like, it doesn't have you blocked or anything, Louisa. I just checked. Excuse me. I wonder... You know what? Let me refresh here. Yeah, I don't see any difference happening there. All right, so this is semi-centered. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but you get the idea. It's got that piece there. So now what I do is that I place it on top of this card and I stick it on there temporarily with some washi tape. It's just going to make my life easier. All right. And now I'm going to stick this onto the background here, being mindful of the fact that I want to make sure it lines up with that piece that I already glued down so that it all matches up, okay? And of course, you want to avoid this area, all right? Okay. Yeah, maybe there was like a weird lag. That happens to me sometimes. Although YouTube has been really naughty lately. It's been naughty. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little glue there, there. You get the idea. And now I'm paying attention to the center part there. Actually, guys, I did it backwards. Sorry, this goes on the inside. My bad. I'm thinking, wait a minute, I did it upside down. So the washi would have been on the inside there to hold it, but let me just do it freehand. All right. I should have put the washi on that smaller piece. So my apologies, I was thinking backwards. Here we go. And like I said, it's gonna be askew up here, but I already knew that going in. Sometimes the machine, when I place my dies, it moves them on me. If that happens, depending on what I'm making, I'll just go with the flow. I try not to complicate myself too much. All right, so now that's down. What I also did, and this is what I was doing at the beginning of the video, is that I had cut out pieces to layer on here. So I want to take advantage of all the cutesy little things on this set of stamps. So it does come with the little paw prints, and I went ahead and stamped those out. And that's going to be for the inside panel here, just to kind of cover the pieces there that I had glued together with the hinge and all that. So I'm going to add this so as to not forget, guys. That's the only reason I'm going in this order, okay? And of course you can stamp those out in whatever color you like. You can match with the kitty cats and all that. But what I did was I cut out, and this is the part that I'm excited about. I cut out this circle to go here, and this is what's going to glue onto that little stack, right? And it's going to help it move around. What I want to do, however, is because this is rather thin, I'm going to cut it out again because I'm seeing that it needs a bit more weight. So bear with me. But in the meantime, check it out. I colored these guys in, and I gave them googly eyes. They're so cute. So I had a good laugh this morning when I was putting those together because I just thought they looked hysterical. Hi, Sandra. Welcome. So there they are. And the fun thing is, of course, that, I mean, you can't keep a straight face if you're seeing googly eyes going all over the place. And that was my, you know, my whole point there was to try to make a card that was empathetic, but could maybe put a smile on a child's face. And then these little guys are going to be messing around with the little box of tissues, making a mess. And up here is where I'm going to put my little sentiment that says, life is messy, friends help. And there's that. So let me cut another one of these out. And this is just a random circle that I have. I cannot recall which die set it came from. But if I can find it, I can cut another one out. Just when I think I'm organized, I go back to being me all over again. Bear with me, guys. I know it's around here. I was trying to keep all of my dies together, be all professional and all that. Do you think I could find it now that I need it? No. Let's see here. It has to be in the vicinity, though. And if I can't, then I'll just adapt and use a different circle. Put that one in timeout. Where did it's probably on my die cutting machine now that I think of it. Let's see here. Nope. Guys, where did it go? I need my circle. Ay, ay, ay. I have one here, but it's smaller. Oh my word. What did I do? I think I found it. Yay, I found it. All right. I found my, I'm just going to cut this again, as I said before. Because I want it to be nice and sturdy, and I realized that it needed a little bit more weight there, because that's going to be moving around. So off to the side here, I've got my die cutting machine. Yes, that's not a bad idea. I have a magnet sitting here. And I also have what I actually have, and I'll show you guys, which it helps me, but as I mentioned before, I'm blind. So it's not the die's fault. It's entirely my fault that I couldn't see it. Because it was sitting there all along. I have this tray here. And you guys probably see it when I'm like moving my camera, but I try to do like die cut pieces, little tchotchkes and whatever, and all my glue in one place. And I just was throwing all my dies in one place, but because there's a pile, I couldn't see it. All right, so let's glue these guys together so that I can make it a little more hefty, as I mentioned before. Yeah. It's so annoying. Like, I thought I prepared. I looked at everything. I'm like, I do the countdown before I go live. I'm like, okay, don't be a hot mess. Get everything ready. And yeah, right. I always say that's just God's way of keeping me humble. Make all the mistakes. All right. So now this little guy is a little bit thicker. And if you want to, you can add a little bit of ink to this. Why not? Just actually just on the edges here. Got a little bit, just to give it a little bit of interest there. And I just happen to have this blue sitting there. I had not necessarily planned on doing blue on this, but it's okay. I think I used them for the little window on the front. All right, so there's that. And on here, I'm gonna place my my drop, I should say, of glue. And I want to be nice and neat when it comes to this because you don't want that glue to seep out. And I also want to make sure that I have it positioned right in the middle of that so that I have plenty of room for this to move, but that it doesn't go too far in either direction, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to just place it right on top. Yeah, I heard Hobby Lobby's got a good sale going on. Of course, I can never go. Can never go when they have the sales. I always pay full price. So I keep Hobby Lobby in business, and then you ladies get to go shop for lower prices. All right, so here, see how now this is going to move up and down? All right. And that's why I used hot glue also. So now I get to determine which way is up. And I'm just going to place my little kitty cats on top. Like so. Now I am going to flip this over so that I can see where the tissue box is going to go. And then I'll show you guys again. Okay. You know what I wish? I really wish that Hobby Lobby would have the same prices on their online shop as they do in store. I mean, I get why they don't, but it would be so nice. Because then, let me tell you, I think my husband's card would be going bling, bling. Here she goes again, ding. All right. Then he's going to be right next to this little tissue box. And I did color the tissues in all different colors just because I had the markers and why not. And then off camera, I'll go back and I'll do all the shiny things like Nuvo drops and all that good stuff. Now here, I could double this up, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and do the same little border I had mentioned before, just keeping it simple because it's already going to have dimension with that, so I don't think I need to be adding any more dimension to this card. Little ink will do. All right, so I'll just add this on the back and put that up here. Now I have a question. Would you guys oopsie, do you guys think I should add a little pull tab? Because I get the feeling that I should. I'm missing a cat. Where did it go? It's supposed to be a little cat on top of the Roomba. I know it's around here, guys. And there are so many adorable ones to choose from. So, of course, you pick whichever one you like. And if that one disappears, then you just pick another one. So, guess what I'm going to do? These crazy cats are getting all over the place. I think... Seriously, guys, I can't even make this stuff up. Ay, ay, ay. What I can do is add another one. So... I think I found it. I found it. I found it. I swear I'm not crazy. All right, here it is. So I'm going to add this one here because he's supposed to be the one sitting on top of the little Roomba. There we go. All right. Okay, so here's the card, and what I could do now is that I can add a little tab here. I don't know if it really needs it, or maybe another one here, or the speech bubble. I think the speech bubble would be cute. What do you guys think? Because it does have another stamp that says meow. I think that should be kind of mandatory to use the meow. I'm going to set this aside for 1 second, stamp the meow, and put that on there as well. And I think it's going to fit. Yep, it fits just so in there. Oh, hi, Carolyn. How are you, sweetie? There we go. And of course, I can add another speech bubble here, however many, you know. But isn't that so darling? And these little guys just move around, you know, and of course, you can add the little kitty cats, for instance, you know, just different ones. It doesn't have to be the same ones over and over again. Yeah, I really like that because it's, you know, depending on the age of the person who receives the card, they might not necessarily understand why the little kitty cat isn't looking up. So I thought that, that would add a little, you know, just a sweet touch there. But I think they're cute. And of course, the idea behind this was that it'll stand also on a table like that. And I've done another card in a similar style for the Cards for Cubs. So if you haven't seen that, it's a masculine card that I made, and it's also, it has a Z-fold style. It's just slightly different than this one. Okay. So I will let you guys choose, should I make another one just like this on this video, or would you like to see me use the little girl? I don't have anything cut out for her yet, but I'll do viewer's choice, because I can make the little girl with the cookie. Thank you. And again, this is for Cards for Cubs. So if you guys want to see me make this from scratch, I can make another one. And all I have to do is get a couple of pieces of paper cut out because I already have my little panels. I have a delay on my phone, but I think I'm going to make another one the same because I've got the same stamps already cut and colored. And I don't know if you guys have a preference or not, so I'm just going to keep on crafting here, ladies. And I think, yep, I already have the little pieces here that are going to layer and all that good stuff. Same one? Awesome. Okay, thank you, Sandra. I do appreciate it. So I'm just going to grab my little elements here. And it makes it a lot easier also if you've already made one. So you kind of get the guessing game out of the way. Yes, I thought the same thing. So I'll switch it up, Louisa. You're absolutely right. Because I don't have to put that, I don't have to make this part in the center exactly the same, because these cards are going to go to different children. So I'll probably just make this part here the same and then switch it up on the inside. All right, so I'm going to set this one aside for a moment. And keep calling that my little belly button there. I've got that part. I've got another you know, choice here of different elements that I can put on there. So I'm going to pick a Roomba, and I will pick, let's see here. I want to use this really colorful kitty cat here. Another little fish bowl. And maybe a set of tissues for, or I might put the tissues with this little kitty cat. I'm going to see what happens here. So I'm going to start off with my, yes, it is. It is, Carolyn. This is for the Barely Art cards. And let's see here. Oh, thank you, Barbara. It is a blessing. You know, I worked for a very short while with a young child who was in the care of a foster mom, and oh my gosh, let me tell you, it is not for the faint of heart, the things that these children go through. In the case of the person that I was taking care of, he was removed, himself and his sister were removed from their parents' home. And this is anonymous. I'm not naming names or anything like that. And none of you guys know where I've worked. So I'm not disclosing anything private. I'm going to cut this twice. So this particular child was, I'm trying to think. The child that I was taking care of was just under 3 years old. And this child was the same size as my child was when my son was 18 months old. Just to give you an idea, okay? And it wasn't because this child had any malformation or anything like that. It was due to malnutrition. And I'm talking about a United States American child that lived in an American home, nothing, you know, crazy. It was just a situation where 4 other children had already been removed from this home, and these were number 5 and number 6 getting removed from the home. And, you know, these kids, they go through so much at such a young age sometimes that it just breaks your heart. So the information, Sandra, is it's on my previous video regarding this, but it is at the Barely Art page. I don't know if, let me see here. Bear with me, guys, because I thought I had it on the description of the video, and so I do apologize that I didn't grab it. I keep a running list of my links, and I'm not seeing it. So, all right. I'm very sorry, Sandra, but if you go to Barely Art, oh, there you go. Okay. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, it's super easy to register. And what I did was that I registered under Carrie Ann's name, because they do ask who referred you, and I figured that would be, you know, showing teamwork, because why not register under the name of someone that I know is participating? And after all, it was Carrie Ann who did the reminder of, hey, you know, sign up for these this lady. So I'm so happy that she did that, by the way. Okay, so I'm using this just so you guys see how I started off my card. You can see there I cut this down to 5 by 7. Okay, and using a die that only cuts 1 edge, or I should say 3 edges and not the bottom, then I was able to get my shaped base there. You're very welcome. Luisa, thank you for stopping by. God bless you. Here again is that other shaped one. And this one I cut slightly smaller, and I just used the same die so that I could get that layer. Okay. All right, so there's that piece. This is going to layer on top when it's all said and done. And before, of course, before I glue it down, I want to make sure that I get my little channel that I'm going to need. So I'm just going to try to put that semi-centered there. As I mentioned before, sometimes the machine will move it on me a little bit, but that's not too important. So I'll just tape it there. Yes, no problem. No worries, Susie. So this will be next, and while I'm cutting this one, I'm also going to use that other one that I mentioned to get my little portion that's going to move around. And I'm just going to cut this out. And I think I've got my layers because I need this one and this one. And then I need a white one for my little paw prints. So I'm good on that. So I'm just going to run this through and we'll get to gluing. I think I might need another circle though, don't I? Yep, I do. So yeah, I wanted to mention the story, by the way, not to be, not out of morbid curiosity or anything like that for you guys, not out of entertainment either. I only wanted to mention that to say that, you know, sometimes we're so unaware of what's happening around us. We make the assumption that because a person belongs to a certain social group or lives in a certain neighborhood that they're all fine and well, and you know, and respect privacy and don't check up on your neighbor or anything like that because, you know, to each his own. And let me tell you, after having worked with small children, I'm quite the opposite because I say, heck no. If you see something that doesn't seem right, call the authorities. You're better off breaking a friendship and having somebody hate you than allowing something to go down in a household that could potentially be hurting a child. Especially if you don't see a child growing. It is, you know, unless that child's born with a physical abnormality, no, that's a sure sign that something's off. In the case of the child that I was working with, it was straight up malnourishment. So, you know, and it doesn't mean that you have to be, what do you call it, confrontational. It's just that, you know, to show up at someone's house with a basket of food just to be neighborly. There's nothing wrong with that. I just wanted to cut down a little edge here, guys, because this is going to allow me to place this on here and have a little bit of a trim there at the bottom. But let me show you what I did. I just folded this piece of paper because it did score with that die. And of course you could use a scoring tool for this, or a scoreboard. You don't have to use the die. And as I mentioned before, this is going to be the little edge that adheres to the base. So if you want to do this with just 2 squares or 2 rectangles, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't have to be diagonal. That's the word I was looking for. All right, so this is going to glue here. And I do have to flip it. Sorry, guys, because I'm unable to think backwards all the time. I needed to fold this way. There we go. That's why I was getting confused. Okay, so I'm going to put this down first. Using that little tab there. I like to do this way first, so that way I can cover that little, you know, tab. Just gives it a nice clean look. Just like that. Okay. And on top of here is where I'm going to put my little square to finish off the front. I want to make sure that I use my heavyweight paper for that. So this will fit in, of course, in a 5x7 envelope. So what I did was that I measured this out, and I think it was 3.5 inches. Yep, just under 3.5 inches square. So I'm going to cut that down. I'm pretty sure it was a square. Bear with me, guys. Yep. Okay. I think I'll cut that twice just in case. All right, again, just to make it nice and sturdy. And what I did before was that I did my gluing first and then I cut away what I didn't need. And that is only to make my life easier. And I know that not everyone works this way, but if it gives you a different idea on how to approach what you're making, then hopefully it is helpful to you. So here's my little squares there. And my other one had a colorful piece of paper, so let me make sure that I grab that. I don't have the same exact color, so I'm just going to use this one. And I'll leave myself just a tiny little edge. I'm going to glue this on here. Now the other one had a hinge. But I'm just going to do this one straightforward. I'm not going to make it so that it has another hinge here. I'm just going to glue it right on there. And let's see here. What I can do is just adhere it on one portion here. And I'm going to now put this on here, like so. Okay. And then I'm going to cut away a tiny bit of this. That's what I did with the other one as well. Just going to cut in at a diagonal just to meet that piece of paper on the front. And then I'm going to cut away, and I know it's kind of crazy I'm using different scissors, but this is how I work, guys. Just going to cut away that little strip there. Just like that. All right, and now when I add my layers, it's going to make this a lot more substantial. So my first layer is going to be this one, and I really like this paper. It's heavyweight double-sided paper that I just happen to have in my stash. So I hope I didn't touch on a too sensitive subject, but I don't mean to be judgmental when I say that. When I share my opinions, it's just sharing experiences, I think, is important, so that I think it allows us the opportunity to reflect on our choices too, because I guess I'm just a big believer in advocating for those who cannot advocate for themselves. That's just something that I truly believe in. So I'm gonna add this in the back here. Actually, no, I want to add the little kitty cat, the paw prints that I did before. So, yes, I would truly appreciate a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content. I know it's kind of got a little serious there for a minute, but I hope not too serious for you guys. I'm trying to find my little kitty cat paw prints that I set aside and I didn't want to lose. And here, in true fashion, I know they're here. All right, I guess I'm not doing the kitty cat paw prints. Okay. Let me get my little meow before I forget. So I'm just going to use the ink that's on my desk here. I truly appreciate it, ladies. Thank you so very much. All right, so I'm going to stamp out my meow. I'm going to stamp the speech bubble. I'm going to be wrecking my brain to know where I put those little paw prints because I set them aside. And I'll find them when I'm not looking for them. That's what I get. That's what I get. Let's do it in this color. So the cool thing about these clear stamps is, of course, you can layer them because of them being transparent. That always helps. And if you need to stamp them more than once, generally speaking, you can do that too. Yep, that's good to go. So please let me know if any of you guys are participating. Also, I had said in the past that if you did and you let me know via a comment on my channel on any one of the videos that I'm sharing regarding this topic, that I would enter you to win one of my paper collections, which is the most recent one. You could, of course, use it any time of year. It does not have to be only used for Valentine's Day, and it's only a way for me to show support and to thank everyone who is participating and joining in. And you have until, well, you have a couple more weeks to get the cards made. You can make them in groups of 10, and whatever you commit to, if it's only 10 cards, that's fine. They want them bundled in groups of 10 is something I should specify. And that's it. They need to be in by the 31st of March. So if you send them in a little bit prior to that, then I think they'll be there on time. So I just cut out that little meow. And I really want the paw prints. Does anyone know where I put them? Did anyone see? I really want my paw prints. But in true fashion, the stamp says life is messy. I'm here to prove the point. It is true. It's very messy, especially if you live with me in my craft room. It's around here somewhere. Help me out, people. I seriously need LASIK or something like that. All right, moving on. Let's put our little pieces together here. I'll add that on separately later. So again, adding the little strip first. I'm glad I can make you laugh, Carolyn. Because if you were here, you'd probably give me a cocoa bump. Like, oh my gosh, Raquel, really? All right, so here's how I do that, which I didn't show in the first card. I just get stuff flying all over the place. Anyone else craft like that? Okay, lining this up, sort of, because in reality, it's not going to be 100% straight at the top. I think I mentioned that before. All right, so I'll put that one in there first. Okay, then this one here. And of course, like I said before, you could put the washi tape on there if it helps. You don't have to. Then glue on the perimeter only. Okay, what's important is that you don't let that slip out. All right, and yes, I'm getting glue all over my hands, but I have baby wipes, so I'm not worried about that. I want to make sure that I line this up. Okay, and then I'll apply my pressure. Easy peasy. Just gonna clean my hands up right quick. Yeah, thank you, Sandra. You made my day, darling. You know what? It's probably stuck in my hair. I mean, I was that girl in school that would have 3 pens in her messy bun and be like, I don't have anything to write with. Can somebody lend me a pen? And people would just like walk by me and grab a pencil out of my hair and be like, really, Raquel? So if anything, I am consistent. Totally did that. Oh my gosh. Or I'm looking for my glasses and they're, you know, on my collar, on my shirt, or whatever. All right. Just had to clean off my hands, guys. And the shape for this one doesn't have to be the same. It can be smaller. Although I do like that one size, and I just flung another die across the room. I do like this size. So I think I want to cut it out in this color. Let's see. I'm trying to think of how it's going to look because it's going to be slightly different, and a little pop of yellow won't hurt. So let's go with that one. And you know, I gotta laugh at myself because seriously. It's either that or cry, as we say. Gotta have a sense of humor. Just gonna fold that in half. Send this through and cut it out. Okay. Now that I've got these little guys, put them together. And you don't have to do it like that. I just, again, I'm just using what's in close to me here. So if it makes it easier for me to just fold a piece of paper to make it, you know, double the thickness, then that's what I'll do. And then I just pick the prettier side, and that's the one that's going to face up. I'm going to add my little dollop of glue here. Again, make sure that this is centered. Give that a moment to dry. And in the meantime, I can make my little scene here for the front. So this is the die cut that I had cut out before. So what I can do to make it, you know, still look like almost like a little window, of course, that's the look I was going for, is to layer the die right back on here. And I know most of you guys already know this, but because I did it, I figured I should show. And there she goes again, dipping her fingers into the ink. All right. I'm just gonna grab a tiny, tiny little bit of that ink. And actually, let me look at my other card. Yeah, I wanted this on the top. I'm just adding the slightest little bit of that. All right. And if you're interested, this is Catherine Puller ink. Highly recommend them. Get a lot of bang for your buck with that ink. That can go right here. And I said I wanted to use this little guy. So I'll put him there. He's gonna have his little meow. And the bowl of fish. Creating my scene. So now I'll start gluing. And I'm sort of cheating because I'm using those little stitch lines to help me find where I'm going to place these items. But if you're crafting upside down, that helps. I'm just going to place this toward one edge. And this little guy over here. Right there. Just want to make sure he's nice and straight. Yep. Yes, me too, Barbara. Absolutely. And I have all the Ranger. I've got the archival inks. In fact, I did the black stamping with archival ink. No, I didn't. I did it with No, what did I do? Yes, I think I used archival ink for the little tissue boxes and everything because my Memento Tuxedo black ink is lacking. I need to refill it. But when I was coloring with my alcohol markers, I noticed that it started, the black ink started traveling a little bit, even though that is waterproof ink. But one thing I can say is if you don't heat set your ink, you're gonna get bleeding. That's just how it goes, especially with alcohol markers. So if you're doing pencils, you don't have to worry about that whatsoever. But that's just a little tip for you guys in case you need it. Then on here, I can put a different kitty cat since I'm gonna place Mr. Roomba over here on that one. So let me take a peek here at my stamps. In fact, oh, I found my paw prints! Yay! God is good! Woohoo! I'm celebrating right now. Like, thank you, Jesus. I found my paw prints. I want to put them on a block so I don't lose them again. Because God is generous, but we don't have to be hard-headed. All right. I can color one of these guys with you. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at because he's all blue, I think I might use my oranges for him. So let's go ahead and find some colors. Here we go. I'm just grabbing some markers here. And how about I zoom in? Yeah, definitely. You have no idea how many times I have to stop what I'm doing and start praying. Oh, I'm like, dear God, please help me. You know where it is and I don't. I totally do that. All right, so I've got some markers here and I'm going to start off with Spring Orange, which actually looks peachy, but amen, Barbara. I'm just going to start off here. And let me see if I have a cat for reference. Yeah, I do. What I did with this one is that I colored the darker color on the head portion, tail, and then the little spot. So let's do that again. I'm just going to go right around the edges. And again, this ink, this is that archival ink. So I can already tell that it wants to it wants to water, or I'm sorry, it wants to pick it up with the marker. However you say that in English, guys, I'm sorry. My bilingual brain sometimes gives up on me. Wants to travel, that's the word. All right, so I'm barely touching the paper there because I don't want to ruin my markers. And then I'm going to grab this one. By the way, that one, if you need to know, was YR61. And then this one is Y38. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. Please let me know, okay? So I can zoom in more if you need me to. So I'm going to go right toward the edge again, and I'm doing like a flicking motion. And if I don't get my tail over to get a refill of ink, I'm not gonna be happy. Because I'm not digging this at all. I should have heat embossed it. All right. Okay. And then, oh, thank you. This is called Maize, which is a very bright yellow. So what I'm going to do now is just barely touch, and it's meeting up with that dark color that I already put on there, but it's not entirely on top of it, if you know what I mean. Just kind of on the edge of it there, and I'm trying to skip the little black portion of it there because this is ruining my marker tips, guys, so. But the good thing is that the images are small, so I don't need a heck of a lot of ink. Just kind of filling in the blanks there, if you will. And then I'm going to go near the top edge and start coloring from in the other direction. Okay, and I'm trying to avoid that edge, of course. Now you can do the same exact thing with pencils, as I mentioned before. And then I have this really super light yellow. It is Y21. It's called Buttercup Yellow. And I'm only going to go on the rest of the little kitty cat there, just so that it's not entirely white. And I'm just going to follow there where the shadows might hit. Just a little here and there. And then around the nose and mouth area. Okay. And, oh, I did grab a pink one for the nose. Why not? Give it a pink nose. Okay, so if you want to color an image like that and give it a little bit of shade, which is what I typically do. All right, now normally I would go in, you know, with an alcohol marker, but again, since that ink is kind of messing them up, I'm just gonna grab a pencil, and these, by the way, are Prismacolor pencils. They're my go-to because that's what I used before I ever touched an alcohol marker. And this is called Yellowed Orange, and it's PC1002. So I'm just going to go over what I colored there in the same flicking motion. So the same exact way that you use an alcohol marker, you can use these pencils. And the reason I'm doing this is to kind of fill in all those little gaps that I left behind with the marker. And this is going to help me do a little bit more shading with more precision because I don't have to worry about the ink running. And you can use a very gentle hand to do this. And the layering will be perfect because what I did was to use a color that matches exactly what I had already put down. All right. And I mention this also because sometimes people say, you know, that it costs a lot of money to use these supplies. But you can make them stretch farther because if you only have one color yellow marker, you can use 3 different pencils to work with that one color and you'll be okay. Now I'm going to use, this color here is called Ochre, yellow ochre. And these are sold individually as well, just so you know. So if you go to Hobby Lobby and they have a sale, or no, who is it that sells these? It might be Michael's. You might be able to get them at Michael's individually or online. If you're on a budget, you can get an individual pencil and then gradually build your stash by grabbing 2 to 3 pencils at a time. And before you know it, you'll have your nice little collection of pencils. So again, I'm just going over what I already had colored there. All right. Oh, goodness. And I hope I wasn't out of frame, guys. But that's enough coloring for one little cat. But that's the end result there, in case you need to see it up close. Hopefully you guys can see the texture that it adds. And if you go in with an even darker pencil, you see that? If you, oh, am I in frame, guys? I hope I am. If you go in with an even darker pencil, then you can definitely add a whole lot more texture to that. All right? But I think he's so adorable. And now comes the fun part for some. Just gonna cut them out of that background because I only need one for the moment. And I have more, so don't be surprised if I take a picture of this later on and show it and it looks a bit different. It's because I'm not gonna keep you guys here all night. So I will be more than likely coloring the rest of those little kitty cats and adding more to these cards. But I'm just gonna follow here. I love using my Tim Holtz scissors for this, guys, because it has a bit of a grip, and that helps a lot. But as I mentioned in the beginning, if you want to scan these and let your machine do the work of cutting, then of course you can do that, because then you can give it a bigger edge and all that stuff. I don't mind doing this because I did this as a child, so voila. Okay, so there's that. Now I can place him on the background. Now, it just occurred to me that it's going to be yellow on yellow. I wasn't thinking, but that's okay. He's going to be on top of that little Roomba. And let's see, what else am I going to put on here? I'll think of something later, but for the moment, I'm going to add a little bit of shadow here, just so that it looks like it's been moving around, because this does have another stamp, and it does have the little movement lines, but I didn't stamp it before I put that piece of paper there, sorry. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to draw it in. So I know that I want my little Roomba there, so let me just go ahead and glue it first before I go too far. Taking the little bits of glue off there. Okay. I'm placing the little Roomba. And placing the kitty cat right on top, just like so. And now I'll just add those little motion lines here and there. And it's just 3 little lines. I think it'll help. So I'm just mimicking what the stamp would have done, okay? And of course now you can see this is going to move up and down, all that fun stuff. And the other stamp was the sentiment. So I'm just going to cut that out for the inside. And I'm super excited that I found the paw prints. Does not take much. I'm going to just grab one of these, and makes it a whole lot easier if you stamp a bunch out. Just going to make it slightly thinner or smaller. So I had a size in mind for these. So what are you guys working on today? Is anyone else crafting? I know I tend to put videos on as I'm crafting also, or coloring and all that good stuff. Hello, Sam. Welcome, darling. I was just cutting this piece of paper on the side. Let me grab my little brush again. And just using that little bit of leftover ink on here. There we go. Barely visible, but it's there. Sam, I need to make sure I put that lip gloss on, or lip balm, I should say, because today is such a dry day here. Oh my goodness. But let me tell you, it's been working. I just want to let you know. I attempted, in fact, to make an Instagram post about that. And do you know that it wasn't until like days later that I figured out that it never uploaded? I don't know what happened, but I was like, really? That's rude. So yeah, I told my husband, I said, you know what? Half of me wants to just get on a plane, go down to Florida, and be like, Sam, have at it. Help a girl out. Oh gosh, she knows what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm going to put my little paw prints over here, and I'm going to overlap it in this case. So because I want this card to be okay for either masculine or feminine, I'm just going to keep the colors in the color palette that I already had here. Yes, it's very, very nice, I have to say. Because at this stage in my life, I'm just trying to take care of my skin as much as possible, because this New York weather does not help. And I got the genetics on my daddy's side of the family, not my mama, because my mama's got that brown skin that don't crack. I'm like, darn it, why couldn't I get that? I'm over here slathering myself with every lotion, cream known to man. And my mom walks in the room, she's like, hey, I'm beautiful. That's how it goes, though. All right, so putting my little paw prints on the card. The coveted paw prints. I'm going to place these here, and I'm going to try not to ruin it. Whatever you do, don't ruin it. What I do, guys, just to let you know, because it does happen, you stick your fingers. If you're like me, I have long nails, so sometimes I inadvertently stick my fingernails in the ink and all that good stuff, and I leave a splotch here and there. I just cover that up with some Nuvo drops. Like, seriously, don't even worry. Add a little shine to it, add an embellishment, whatever. You know, you sometimes have to improvise because it happens. All right, so there's that. And I do want to add another kitty cat over here, though. Do you guys care if I color another one? Will you hate me forever? I can do it in pencils this time, just to show you. That way I don't complain about my markers. I think I want to add a little bit of purple. Let's go with purple. Why not? I'm trying to make these fun. So I'm just going to make another little guy here. This is strictly pencils this time. I picked violet just because it's there. So in this case, I'm gonna color the little paw just close to the edge there again. Right at the bottom here also. And in between those little legs, because there's a leg in the front, so that one needs to be lighter than the background. Otherwise it looks kind of funny. And then up here underneath the head, and I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little bit of texture here, guys. So using the same flicking motion, the same way as if you were using an alcohol marker. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the edge of the face. So I'm essentially working from the outside in. Okay. And it's short, feathery strokes, kind of like makeup. Not too much pressure, so that way you don't get thick lines. And then I'm going to do the same thing from the bottom of the ear going up. And I'll work a little bit faster there. But it's the same little motion, all right? Then I'm going to go in with a second color. This one is mulberry. And on top of that first one, I'm just going to go in, but this time I'm moving the pencil in almost like little circles, just really, really gently. Really soft motion there. And then I'm going to add a little bit more to the front here. Just like that. And guys, this is pure fun for me, okay? So I hope it's not too much for you guys. I'm gonna go here around the little edge of the face. And then around the little nose and mouth, just a tiny bit, just to keep that color moving. All right. And then I'm going to do the same thing with what I had already placed there. I am moving back and forth, but that's just very, very soft. And I'll make it a little bit deeper on the edge there with that second color. It's going to act almost like a highlight because the darker color never touched the edge. So I hope that makes sense. And then I'm going to finish off the little ears. And you can tell that I'm leaving a portion of this kitty cat uncolored, and I'm doing that on purpose. Okay, and now I'm going to go in with a really light pink, and I'm going to layer that on top of that mulberry color that I added. Just very, very gently there again. Kind of ties it all in together. So you're getting a bit of a coloring tutorial here today. And again, it's just around all the little edges there, but in a really soft motion. And then the center of the nose can be pink. Okay, there's my little kitty cat all colored in. So that's the second one. I appreciate you guys having the patience to watch me color. I know it's not for everyone, but hopefully you guys can see that. Let me not make it too close. Okay. I think they're so darling. I love that they're such simple little images. Let me grab this one out of here. And oopsie, grab the right scissors there. I'm going to do the same motion there as I showed before, just going around the perimeter. Now another thing you can do if you're new to fussy cutting, guys, you can take a marker in a lighter color, say like a very, very light blue or really light gray, and color around the outside of that little cat, and that'll give you a border to follow with your scissors. And that does make it easier if you get kind of frightened about cutting too close to the edge there. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, you know what, guys? I can watch coloring videos all day. It never gets old for me, because as a child, that was my way of handling life. Whenever there was any chaos around me or anything too stressful, I would just go into my room with a box of crayons. I'm telling you right now, that saved me from a lot. It was very therapeutic, and that's why I do believe that God gives you certain talents for your benefit, because we are meant to express ourselves in certain ways, and sometimes you know, there's a saying that where words fail, music speaks. I completely get where they're coming from, whoever made that up, because it is a different language, in my opinion, and it can help you express things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to say out loud. To me, I think coloring and painting is the same thing. Absolutely. Helps you process things. So that little kitty cat's going to go here, and she doesn't quite know what's going on. I can relate. Because she's facing that way. She's like, wait, where are we? Sorry, guys, my sense of humor. She's like, where did everybody go? I don't know. I don't understand. This cat's not looking at her either, so she don't know what's going on. Oh gosh, but Sam says it looks like a bay Cheshire cat. It's all stripy, huh? Oh my goodness. So, let's see here. I didn't put any tissues over here, so let's put a box of tissues here. And it can be kind of crooked, I don't know. She can be, it's kind of difficult because there's a fold here though. She can topple over the tissues if need be. Let me see how I'm gonna make this work. Ay, ay, ay. Working upside down, guys. No, she needs a yo-yo or something. Like maybe, you know what? I'm just gonna wing it, guys. I'm gonna give her a yo-yo. So. You're spared. Oh my gosh, Sam, you need to see that there's a comedian on, oh Lord, you just gave me a flashback. There's a comedian on Dry Bar who does this whole bit about the spirit animal. Oh, it's hilarious. All right, so the little circles that I cut out for this thing here, remember how I said to improvise? Watch me, watch me. Let me zoom out a bit. I'm gonna improvise, guys. Because I'm going to make this work. That little airheaded kitty cat is going to work. Oh, gosh. Please do not fall asleep on me. Who was it that fell asleep in one of my videos? She wrote it on, I think it was Instagram. I was like, girl, people are going to take that the wrong way. I think it was Bonnie. Was it Bonnie? She had come home from work and got to watching one of my videos. And girlfriend fell asleep. I was like, I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or an insult. I'm trying to... Oh gosh, I can't talk and make a bow at the same time. All right, so I'm just making a little bitty bow, right? Y'all will see where this is going. I probably should have used a different color, but whatever. At this point, who cares? I'm just going to make a little bow. Oh, okay. Actually, no, it doesn't need to be a bow. All right, hold on a second, guys. I'm going to just kind of twirl it when I stick it on there. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to cut a piece of this off. All right. I'm going to color that little circle. And yes, I'm going to use a marker this time around because, let's see here, I need a bright color. Let's go with, I'm going to use kind of this fuchsia, I guess. Woohoo, wrong end. All right, so that you guys see a backdrop here, I'm just, praise the Lord. Okay, these fingernails, I think I'm going to have to cut them off. All right, so I'm just going to do half of that circle in this really bright fuchsia. And then I'm going to do the other half in a not so bright pink. Like that, just so that it has a shape there, not just flat. And then I'm going to take my micron pen. And I'm going to make this look like a yo-yo. So I'm going to follow that same line, give it an edge. And then I'm following the perimeter of that little circle also, okay? So this is just a makeshift little shape here. And I'm going to grab a white pen right quick and give this a little bit of a highlight. Just like that. And now I'm going to stick that thread. And here we go. I'm going to stick the thread on the back of this shape. Just like that. Just being careful not to burn myself, of course. All right. Give that little kitty cat something to play with. There we go. I'm going to stick this on here first. And I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. Woohoo! All right, down here, because there is another image of a little kitty cat playing with yarn, but of course I didn't think to stick that one on there. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this here by placing another little drop of glue. I'm going to let this kind of snake over here and then go back this way. And then it'll make more sense that the kitty cat's facing the wrong direction. So I'm going to place glue on where the little paw is going to meet that thread or yarn or whatever you want to call this stuff. And boom. Now the kitty cat's holding on. I'm going to cut away the excess. And I'll add another little drop of glue there. Oh, thank you. It was an afterthought, but hey, it's gonna work. And it's gonna make that little card a little bit different than the other one. And variety is a good thing. So I'm just gonna take off the little cobwebs. And what started out as an oopsie now will make more sense. So there's that little cat now playing with the ball of yarn. And this little guy here twirls around. So much fun. Thank you, Barbara. And of course, it all makes sense because, you know, it's supposed to represent chaos after all, you know, with the sentiment saying life is messy. So that's another reason not to take it too seriously. But I really have enjoyed these, and what I'm going to do, of course, is I'm going to add the little googly eyes, guys, because I think it goes without saying that that's going to give it that little special touch of fun. So I'm just going to go right back in here with my glue. Let me make sure I clean my nozzle so I don't have too much. All right. And just a tiny little drop will do ya. And I just happen to have these in my stash, so how fun is that? Go ahead and place these here. Oh, I love it. I tend to clean off what I don't need with my fingernails, but I don't know if anyone else does that. Thank you. I know this has been kind of a long video, but this is how I craft. I try to have a vague idea of what I'm going to make, and then I just make it up as I go along because stuff happens, you know? Like losing a stamp in the middle of it. Oh gosh, but look at the eyes. Just do it for me. I just love it. Thank you, Carolyn. And Carolyn, I'm glad you're still here because I want to show you something that I did. And I'm supposed to be doing design team videos, guys, but oh, I'll get there. I will get there eventually. I'll get there. All right, I'm gonna set these aside. I think I'm done with cats for the day. I'm gonna have to keep making cards tomorrow. But let me zoom out. This is mayhem on my table. You would think that it'd be like 2 pieces of paper and I'm done, but no, I have like 50 things going on. By the way, in case you missed it, I did use for that kinetic feature on that card, the My Memory Book Perfect Luck die set. This is from TonicStudios, and oh, wonderful, Sam! Congratulations! Yes, we're gonna have to compare and see what you got. Yeah, when I get it in the mail, I'll show you guys, of course. That was super cool that they did that. And that would be another thing, like on here, for instance. Oh, I'm trying to get rid of this tape. It keeps following me. Like on the little window panels here, I can go back now and place Nuvo drops in there to make it look like an actual window, you know, with light shining through, that sort of thing. I just tend to not do that sort of thing on video because it can get, as you can tell, I already make a mess when I'm crafting, and it can ruin a card so fast. So I am so loving this though, because it looks like that cat's just kind of like poking up like, hey! Guys, I might have to make one for myself just to keep it around and amuse myself. So there's the first one. They already had their little eyeballs on and all that good stuff. And they're shredding up the tissues. And this is the little guy on the Roomba. We did the same thing on the front panel there. I just made it a little different because this one moves, it swivels. And I didn't bother with the swivel in this case. It just opens up like that, but it'll still stand the same way. And I'm doing this again just to inspire you guys to use what you have. Think of different ways to use the product that you may already own. Thank you. And that way you can start making these cards for children. Here's another card. In fact, I wasn't going to share these because they're going to be on a separate video. But here's another card. And this one, of course, is super shabby chic. Just sweet. And thank you, Barbara. Completely different from this, you know, because I find this to be the kind of this clean and simple style, of course. But if you're into shabby chic, here's another one. This one's using a little teddy bear. My friend Samantha from France, not Samantha from Florida, but my friend Samantha sent this to me in the mail, this little die set that makes the teddy bear. I fell in love with it, and she was so kind that she surprised me with that in the mail. Sandra needed the glasses. Oh, thank you. And this here, by the way, was with a wooden stamp that I showed in a haul video the other day. I used a TonicStudios stamp here. I'm sorry, die for the hello. Back here is, this die was from Momenta, if I'm not mistaken. This is a printable from Carrie Ann, who does the Shabby Art Boutique digital papers. And then it's a TonicStudios paper in the background. I used a little tag die that I have in my stash just to add a little texture up here with two little tags. So if this is more your style, this is another thing that you can do in mass production, with planning, of course, because you can stamp all of the image at one time, as I showed here. Do all of your stamping at once, all of your coloring at once. So, you know, it goes a little bit faster that way. And these are just some other cards. I don't think I want to show these, though, because these are going to be on another video. But I do want to show Carolyn this card here. Carolyn, take a peek at that. And thank you, Sandra. You wonder, okay, how... You know, I know that they review the cards to make sure that they are appropriate. My assumption is that when, and this is just me thinking about how this stuff must work, because I have volunteered in the past with different community groups and through my church, and I've worked with children, you know, that sort of thing. So given what I've learned from that, my guess is that if foster homes are asking for the cards, then the foster homes must already be giving them the age groups of the children that they have in those homes. Because one thing I noticed was in the commentary on Instagram on behalf of Barely Art is that they mentioned that they barely get any cards for teenagers. So if you like to make cards that a teenager would would enjoy, they are definitely in need of that. In fact, these, I figured that even a teenager would enjoy something like this, just because it's goofy. I mean, it's not necessarily age specific. So, and that also determined, you know, the colors that I wanted to use. So, in going back to this one, Carolyn, I thought of you when I was making this. So I'm going to send you this card. It's not going to be a surprise anymore, but that's what you get for watching my video. I thought that you would like this. So I stamped that out onto vellum, and because I saw that you are liking, what is it called again? Pergamano? Yes, Carolyn, this is you. It's yours. So I saw that you're liking Pergamano, and years and years and years ago, I had a girlfriend who showed me how to work with that, and I took a sneak peek, and I was like, oh my gosh, Carolyn likes that. That's awesome. So I just started messing around, because I do have some Pergamano. I guess that's the point. I started playing around, and I didn't want to do all of the stippling because I'm slow enough when I craft. But yeah, I'll send this your way, sweetie. I wanted to do it also as a sample because I actually I get these antique and retired stamps and I sell them on Etsy. It helps fund the rest of what I do on my channel. And when I use wooden stamps, it actually hurts my hands a lot. So I might stamp an image one time, the way that I you guys see here. So I'll grab a wooden block and I'll stamp the image as many times as I can fit it on a sheet of paper. And then I let it go, I might make a few cards, or I might keep the images for later, because I can scan them into my computer. But yes, it is very, very relaxing. And for me, the using of these tools, because this is what I use. And you already know this, Carolyn, but I use this tool on the back side of the Pergamano just to give it shape to the little flowers. And then I also used it on the ribbon, but I actually did also grab a white marker and a white pencil, and I colored in what you see there, because this Pergamano is variegated. So I did not color the blue that you see on there. What I colored were the flowers and the ribbon. So if you guys want to know more about this, go watch Carolyn, because she's into this right now and she's making videos. So yeah, I did not film this because that would have been too long, and I'm trying not to do so many videos because it actually, you know, it's not good for my health. I'll leave it at that. So if you guys are interested, I do have other videos showing the other cards that I've done for the Barely Arts, but I do encourage you to chip in on that, do whatever you can, even if it's only 10 cards, that would be great. Oh, thank you, Carolyn. See, I figured you might like it. The other one, actually, let me show you the stamps. I have one. Okay, so this is the one. This is the heart one, and it's a retired PSX stamp. So this is going to be going on my Etsy shop. And then the other one, let me show you the other one. Here. The other one, and I don't know if I'll get rid of this one, to be completely honest. Sometimes I get selfish and I start grabbing them. Oh, you want it, Carolyn? Oh, this one? All right. Okay. Then I don't know if I listed it. I'm going to check and see if I already listed it, because I was listing some earlier. So yeah, I'll make sure to, if it's already on the page, then I'll take it down. All right. But then this was the other one, and what I did was that I used it on the background of this blue paper. I stamped it out blue on blue. In fact, I think I have a sample here. See, I stamped it out pink on pink, and then I stamped it out blue on blue. And what I did there was that I colored in the roses with a white pen after I did all the stamping. And of course you can't tell because I covered it up with another piece of paper. But I did color every single one of those roses. And this is a again, this is an old PSX stamp. Guys, if you see wooden stamps in any resale shop, pick them up. You can do so much with them. And of course, that's if you're able to. And sorry to walk away, but my stuff is over there. You can, let me show you a sample. Uh-oh. Okay, so I don't know if I got disconnected from chat. Someone say something. Someone type something in, because I don't know. YouTube is acting so weird lately. If somebody can just type hello or whatever so that I can see if my chat is working. What a pain. I don't know if we got disconnected or not. Darn it, darn it, darn it. Oh, whew. All right, wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, so going back to the stamp, because I can't stamp very much, because of my hands, then what I do is that when I do grab a stamp and I use it, and by the way, this is brand new, just to let you know, I try to make the most of it. So in this case, I knew that I wanted to use the Pergamano, so I stamped it multiple times. And oh, hi, Jackie. Thanks, Sandra. And I used all the different embossing powders that I had in my drawer that I thought might look cute. And that's how I used it on top of the Pergamano. So I had an embossing powder, for instance, that was a metallic blue. I had one that was darker. I had one that was, it's called Peacock. So if you see how it's a little bit, it's not in your shop. Oh, okay. Good. Good, Carolyn. All right, then you've got dibs on it. So here's that one. You see, I started coloring the background in white. So that way you could see the detail on that. Because again, the Pergamano is variegated. And then this one I did in white. So that's just white embossing powder on that. And then this one was more of a teal colored embossing powder. So yes, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, Carolyn. And let me tell you, it's I love the design of this. Oh, and here it is on pink. But when I did the embossing on that, I didn't love it. So I was like, eh. But if you do, for instance, if you do kind of like a little candy box, I think you would really enjoy it that way. But I tell you, girlfriend, when I was looking through my stamps, I was like, Carolyn would love this. So I'm so glad that you tuned in to watch, because now I know not to put it on the store. So yeah, there's that. And I'm going to be listing some more, guys, but I'm not going to show the rest of those cards or things here, because I do have to make a video. You know, I make commitments to make videos for certain stores. And so the other samples that I have to do with that. So that's why I'm just going to, you know, omit that. But I do have a haul video where I showed the other stamps that I've picked up. Yes, absolutely. In fact, I have a die set that makes a 3D box that's in a heart shape. Oh, Carolyn, you probably remember that video. Bye, Sandra. God bless you. Do you remember this? I think you do. You remember this video, right, Carolyn? How many, you know what? I don't think as long as I live, I'm going to forget that hot mess of a video. Oh, Lord. Yeah, no worries. So Sam, what I did was I showed a stack of different wood stamps, because I do list them on Etsy. So that way, if anyone's interested, then, you know, you can shoot me a message and that sort of thing. But yeah, if you remember this. So anyway, just to compare the sizes, this isn't all that, you know, it's not too tiny. If you were to do a 3D box, of course, you know, you'd have to improvise you know, how you place it on there. But it really, if you cut a strip of paper and you score it on, you already know this, Carolyn, but you know what I mean. I don't have to teach you how to do that. But yeah, to compare the size, it's not a bad size. And let me see here. Okay. I also have, now I shy away from listing anything that is stained on my Etsy store, just because I think it might turn people away. But here's another one. And this one is full of roses in the center. And then it's got, you know, the heart-shaped doily on the background there. But look at how stained it is. So I don't know if this is going to come off or not. And I haven't really played around with it. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to see if this is even, you know, if I can rescue this in some way. I'm sure it's going to stamp just fine, but I do want to take a look and see how much of this I can take off of here. But these are, let's see, this design here is 1997, and it's from Stampendous, and it's called Floral Heart. But yeah, I agree. The roses are just stunning. Do you guys want me to stamp it right now? Let's see how it stamps. I'm kind of curious now. And then there's this one, but this one, I just realized this one doesn't have all the frilly stuff. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not sure if I'll list that one or not. I have to, you know, I have to gauge it depending on, you know, what I'll be able to get for them and all that good stuff. All right, let me stamp this one out and see. Let's see what it looks like. What color? I think, in fact, I think I might just use this dark blue. I've been reaching for it all day, so. And again, this is not cleaned at all. If you guys know about rubber stamps, then you know why I keep mentioning it. But yeah, you can stamp these on textured paper to an extent, on paper that's already printed, or what do you call that? You guys know what I mean. Paper that has print on it, or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, this is big. This one measures, let's see here. Because the other thought I've had is to just make prints and then sell the prints on Etsy instead of selling the actual stamp. So this is, the block in and of itself is 4 by 5 1/4. So the stamp is, yeah, 4 3/4, I think it is, by 3 1/2. Okay, of this one, Carolyn? Yeah, I'll gladly do that. That way you can scan it. So see, this is why we need to keep in touch. Because I don't even think of these things unless you bring it up. Quite honestly. Except for I did see, I'm telling you right now, I don't know if that was a God thing or not. Maybe it is, because I don't believe in coincidences. But I saw that heart and I was like, oh my gosh, Carolyn's going to love that. I literally did. So I'm so glad that you were able to see it. Printables, yeah, I can do that too. I can scan them and make it like a collage sheet. Because what I want to stay away from is actually selling printed papers, and that's just because of shipping. I do not want to get myself into sending people things in the mail that are, printed out, so that way the USPS can kick it and chew on it on their freaking lunch break and then have to deal with it. Because when I get things in the mail, oh my word, it's such a pain. Whoa, check it out. All right, so it shifted a tiny little bit, but that's my fault. Look at that image. You guys know no tengo pelos en la lengua. I say what I need to say. Isn't that lovely though? So I'll try to get a clear one and I'll scan it. Isn't that gorgeous? Girl, yeah. Years ago, and I'm talking like 20 years ago, right? I used to sell Mary Kay, and I remember watching, I was waiting for a shipment, right? So I'm watching the UPS guy through my window. I lived on a condo, or in a condo, not on one. I lived in a condo on a second level, so I could see downstairs, if you will, to the street. So I'm watching this dude, and he's literally kicking the boxes in the back of the truck, and I'm like, what is he doing? I was like, this dude is nuts. But anyway, memories. You guys know where I'm going with this now, right? Yes, that definitely would be gorgeous in Pergamano. Absolutely. So I will, I'll see, you know what? Let's take a look. Let's just do it. Oh, gosh. You just got me thinking. I have it right here, so let's just see what it looks like. Yeah. So, my friend the mailman had some anger issues. And then after this, I have to go, guys, because I haven't eaten. And my fireplace, I think, is dead by now. I need to put some wood in the fireplace. My honey's on his way home from work, traveling, and he's not here to spoil me and bring me drinks and, do all the work for me. So, all right, so I'm going to go in with this. Because this stays wet for a good long time, it's a good ink to use. Oh, and matter of fact, I'm trying to think of which embossing powder to use. I'm probably gonna use choices. I can use this one, which is just sparkle, and it'll be kind of clear. Yes, God bless you, Sam. Thank you for stopping by. I'm just gonna put this behind here, just give myself kind of an idea. And also a landing place for the embossing powder. You guys saw I put a whole bunch of the embossing, or what do you call this stuff? The embossing buddy, the powder, the talc. Put a whole bunch of that on the paper first, because the last thing you want to do is ruin it with the oils from your hands. And here, you know, do a little CPR. 1, 2, 3, Mississippi. This is what hurts. So say a prayer for me, ladies. I'm gonna be feeling this later. Yeah. All right. So hopefully I've got enough pressure on that. And gently remove it. And hopefully I got enough ink, but let's quickly put the powder on top. We'll see. You want to be generous, of course, with this. And then if it's not 100% perfect, you can always go in with a pen and, you know, draw it in if you need to. Or layer it up with the image on the back. That's kind of a cheater method, of course, you know, but why not? All right, let's heat this puppy up and see what happens. Hi, Bonnie. I mentioned you earlier because I think you're the one who told me you fell asleep watching me color. So we were having a laugh about that. This has been a long video. I was coming on to show you guys 2 cards, and here I am stamping on Pergamano. It's Carolyn's fault. So I hope it was because it was relaxing and not because it was so boring that you couldn't handle it. All right, let's see what this looks like. Go up nice and close. All right, so I'm trying not to burn it, but I don't think that was the best embossing powder. Yeah, you poor sweetie, I don't blame you. So there's, yeah, I can still see some of it. Hold on, guys, sorry. I want to make sure it's completely embossed. There we go. I could tell that some of it wasn't. All right, here we go, that's better. So there's that one, nice and shiny there. But I think I want to try a different powder. Let me see here. This one's called Violet. And I'm going to try it on this side now. Oh, embossing is such a gratifying thing to do. Because it's that instant result. It never gets old. And it's kind of addictive, I think. So I'm just adding my ink now again. Trying to make sure it's nice and juicy. And that's why I like these inks too. Because they're very, very juicy. So they're perfect for embossing. These are the Catherine Polar inks, by the way. Oh, definitivamente sí, mami, te quiero mucho. Déjame terminar aquí. Que Caroline me tiene trabajando. Oh, I'll let you know in just 1 second, sweetheart. But this is called, what is it called again? It's called Floral Heart from Stampendous in 1997, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I know. I can totally understand, Bonnie. Doing my CPR there. Oh, and sorry that I take so long, but you see, I didn't get a full image on that. And that's because of this mat. So that's my own fault. But because you can cut around it, let me go ahead and emboss it anyway. It is what it is. Just gonna heat emboss this one with this color. Because even if you use a partial image, that's okay. Just gonna clean this up. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And again, I'm going to try to see how much I can clean it up. If I get it, you know, nice and clean, I might just go ahead and list it. Because I want to keep a certain standard, I guess, on the store. So I don't want to sell things that are stained. Let's see how this one looks. There we go. I think this is much better. You probably can tell already. Even though I didn't get a full image. All right. The powder, yes, Bonnie. So it is an expensive powder depending on where you get it from. The brand, Wow, and this brand here, this is really old. This is Ranger, but I'm talking really old, okay? They last me for years. I generally buy them even in resale shops. I mix them together. But you always put it right back in that little pot. It's kind of like nail dip for, you know, for your fingernails. Same concept, except for you use it on paper. But there it is in the violet. I love that color. And then what you get is this enameled effect on your paper. And of course now I can pencil it in, you know, start coloring with the pencils. You can color on the back of Pergamano or on the front, whichever way you want to do it. So if I take a white pencil and start coloring in the ribbon like that, then once it's on top of another piece of cardstock, it's going to show up a little bit better. And then depending on how heavy I go in with the pencil, it'll look a little bit different. So you see what I mean? Okay. Any ink? Yes, you can use, what you want to make sure that you do is that you use an ink that is nice and wet when you're applying it onto whatever paper you're going to use, because it doesn't have to be Pergamano. I'm just showing this because Carolyn has been doing Pergamano projects, and I wanted to show her those hearts. I highly recommend Catherine Puller inks because these are water soluble. You can use them to watercolor, meaning that you take a little stamp block, smush that on there, use your water brushes, and you can use this to color in images. You can use those to do the stamping that I just did. And you can get a really crisp image every single time. To do the heat embossing, this can work, or you can use something like a Ranger ink that is pigment ink, sorry. You can use a Stays-On ink because those stay wet for a long time also. You just want to stay away from chalk ink because that's not going to work for heat embossing. But Nouveau also, just to show you, Nouveau inks such as this one, that say hybrid. Anything that says hybrid is also good for heat embossing. My recommendation, of course, is that you go ahead and use the, all that's in here is cornstarch. You want to put that on your paper first. That removes the oils from your hands, then ink, then powder. So it's kind of like, you know, a little formula there, if you will. But it's well worth it. The images come out so nice and shiny and pretty. So it's a really beautiful effect. And then, of course, I can cut these out once I color them in and use them on a card. And since you just got here, I'll just show you the one that I'm going to be sending Carolyn, because this is the one that I cut out using the other stamp. And what I did was that I put a couple of little pop dots underneath it, just cast a tiny bit of shadow there. That's it. Or I'm sorry, I take that back. I use foam tape. I apologize. I use foam tape around the edge there. That's what I did. All right. But I am going to have to end this video because I'm about to drop. I have had so much fun with you guys, though. I truly appreciate you being here. I do hope that you join me in Cards for Cubs if you haven't already done so. If you do need any more details on that, feel free to check out the other video that I did regarding Cards for Cubs, or the barelyart.com webpage, which is linked in the chat of this particular video. I want to thank all of you ladies for, yes, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping me out. Thank you, Sandra, for helping me with the chat today. I truly, truly appreciate it. And of course, as I said before, if you do enter in participating, leave me a comment. Oh, wonderful, Bonnie. So Bonnie, you'll be automatically entered as far as my channel is concerned for the giveaway. So I'll just keep a running list. Yeah, and the giveaway is just a digital copy of my papers that I released last month. I think it was last month. They were Valentine-ish papers. They're called Shabby Valentine, but you can use them year-round. And yeah, that's it. So thank you again. Be inspired and be blessed. And thank you so much for watching. You guys have a wonderful evening. Ciao, ciao. Gotta go call my mama. Oh, here we go. Doing the tilt-a-whirl. Sorry if I make you dizzy.